Ooh. Okay. Okay. There we go. A little bit of flexing. There we go. There we go. So what we're getting into is prepping him as far as how just flexing left and right. When I first get on, my goal isn't necessarily as far as like going forward, going left and right, teaching him to move forward or anything like that. I just want to be able to sit and flex either way and soften to the face. That is going to be my goal. So we do know that he flexes, and we're just going to double check all that before we get on and kind of figure out our response to backing. Should we need to back in a certain direction or back for some reason. So for him, his easiest, I have taught him that when you shake the rope to back, and he's not quite getting it on, there we go, there we go. There we go. He responded better to that. Okay, so when we're first getting on, I'm going to just stand next to him, do some rubbings, We're gonna do a little test as far as getting on. I've already been on him twice, so I'm not really worried, but you know, anything could happen. He thought about walking off, but he didn't, so we're gonna get back off. We don't want to start the whole walking off very young. I do not like it when my horses walk off when I'm trying to get on them. So we're not going to start that. Sitting. Okay. That was great. That was great. So what I'm going to do is keep a tight-ish rein, because my whole goal is not really to move from here. But I'm going to move this leg. We're going to move this leg up, back, get comfortable. If he wants to put his head down, I'm going to let him. If he wants to check me out, I'm going to let him. I feel like when getting on the first couple rides, people get into a really big rush. And so that's just kind of, I don't like to do that. I like to get on and take my time. I like to get on and sit here all day and just do nothing. Move my legs around. We're going to get a feel of each other. I'm just going to pat him everywhere. And then I'm going to get off. You know, I'm not going to ask him to do anything. I think that most people, when you see a bunch of the blow-ups in the saddle, is that people will get on and then they expect them to walk, trot, and lope around the round pen. And they're just going to hang on and hope for the best. To me, that becomes a fight or flight response, and horses cannot think when they are in fight or flight. So it is pointless if I'm a trainer to do that, because I'm not training them or teaching them anything if they're in fight or flight, because they can't learn. So what we're going to do is take it slow. I'm going to slap my legs. I'm going to rub around on him. I'm going to feel my legs around on him, we're just going to desensitize to this. And he's doing great. I like to have a backup plan, so if my horse is doing good at something, then I can take a step forward. So that's going to be, let's touch my foot. I'm going to present my foot, and he can smell it. We're going to reward him for that. I like to offer something for my horses to touch when flexing. So he's thinking about walking off. To me, I think that it gives them an object to touch. So we flex both ways. We're gonna give a nice little rub. And I don't always get on bareback. I will just say that. We obviously have saddled him and he's done great with saddling, but the reason I'm choosing to do these first rides bareback is because I do not have a saddle that is gonna fit him. He's gonna be very wide. He already is really wide compared to Jake. We took a couple steps. I did my best to stop him and he responded, so that's great. We're just gonna sit here. So this is pretty much gonna be our first like official ride as far as having somewhat of a control. All I want him to do is stand here. I'm not asking him to go anywhere. We're doing desensitizing. I've got my legs all over him. We're flexing. We're backing. I would rather them know how to back first rather than go forward because horses are naturally going to go forward. So something else I like to do is we're just going to offer him everything that he wants. So we're going to get a vertical flex here. So that was a response. So we're going to let loose. So everything I do is going to be more baby steps than anything because I want to provide them with answers. And you can see that our Loping hack is quite big on him because this is actually for Jake. And I haven't set it to him properly. Just pull it back a little bit. Trying to get that. We're really just trying to feel our responses with our reins, getting that feel, getting that touch. If he wants to get down and relax, that's great. I really don't want to move, but he's trying to get over there to that hay. So let's practice our backing up. Perfect. Perfect. He's not sure. Now, I will admit, typically I should have taught him how to back with this response first before getting on, but I have complete faith in this colt. I wish I could get better view for you guys. but he's really wanting to munch on that hay over there. Up, 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 up. So he doesn't understand what that means. That's okay. Do a little connection. But again, I like to offer an object, especially when we're just getting started. Then we'll get into drill. There you go. So what I'm doing is, in the long run, is big motions of what my small motion is going to be. So squeezing my hands to ask my horse to back up, which eventually is going to roll into squeezing my legs into backing up. But he's not going to know any of that. So we're going to make an obvious choice here. Obvious choice here. And I'm not like just yanking and pulling. I'm just making big movements. And he had it a while ago. He did good. Obvious choice, which may not always be as obvious as you think. Perfect. So literally this is like my riding experience. I know there's a lot of people who have other ways of doing this. This is my way of doing this because I don't like to just flood my horses and really get aggressive with them. And so it may take a bit, and I probably should have released at that point. But it may take a minute, but once he starts figuring out that was intent. But once he starts figuring out what it means, then we're doing good. And sometimes what I've noticed, there we go, is like with Jake, when I started working with backing on him, the spurs really made a difference. But then where I went wrong was relying on the spurs, and then he knew what the spur meant as a cue, but he didn't know what my leg meant as a cue. So, and then you get into, when you're starting colts, what do you want as a cue to back up? So I know when I'm going to a barrel race and I'm heading into a barrel, I sit, then I want him to engage, but I don't want him to stop. So you have to really figure out your cue as far as, so with Jake is to squeeze my legs, but in order to squeeze my legs, he has to know what backing up means. So we have to establish a cue of backing up first. Which may put him in some uncomfortable situation there. But it didn't take him long to figure it out that time. And I'm not overly stressing him out. Does he look overly stressed to you? I am doing what I can, but with staying under his threshold and figuring, like, and watching his response and figuring out his response whys. So, like, if we are asking to back up and he's not wanting to back up, you can see a little bit of stress there. He's looking around, trying to figure it out. Head up, a little more stress, a little bit, not really understanding.
First time?
Third. First time I grew a pair and went completely pathless. And we just sat over nose to nose with Jake and he did good. Second time I had my cousin Pony Hill, I took him to the Stratford rodeo, and I had him get on Jake and Pony Hill, and I rode him around the arena, and he did good. He did do like a little launch and profile.
Yeah.
And because I was bareback, I kind of got dismounted a little bit. I actually just fell on his neck and came on, but when he stopped moving, I just let go. Just put on my feet. But we went 2 rounds